Can you believe Pope Leo XIV just dropped a bombshell that's shaking the Catholic world? Something huge is happening in Rome, and it's about to change how we live our faith. Picture this. Cardinal Robert Sarah, a man many thought was cast aside, is back in a way no one saw coming. Today, we're diving into the stunning news that His Holiness has named Sarah as his special papal envoy to lead the 400th anniversary celebrations of Sainte-Anne's apparition at Sainte-Anne, France, this July 2025. Why is this such a big deal? It's not just a ceremony, it's a wake-up call for every Catholic. Stay with me until the end to uncover a secret about the Eucharist that could transform your spiritual life. And don't forget to hit subscribe and that bell icon so you never miss these life-changing messages. Let's explore why this moment, led by a fearless cardinal, is calling us back to the heart of our faith, right now. So, why is Cardinal Sarah's appointment sending shockwaves through the Church? Let's dive deeper, because this isn't just a news headline. It's a call to every Catholic to rediscover the fire of our faith. Cardinal Robert Sarah, born in a humble village in Guinea, has spent decades defending the sacred truths of Catholicism. He's the man who boldly declared, "The West is dying because it's forgotten how to kneel." That's not poetry. It's a warning that hits the soul. Years ago, under Pope Francis, Sarah was pushed to the sidelines, labeled too traditional, too unyielding. Many thought his voice was silenced for good. But now, Pope Leo XIV, a pontiff known for his bridge-building heart, has done the unthinkable. He's called Sarah back, not to a quiet corner of the Vatican, but to lead a global mission that starts with the 400th anniversary of Sainte Anne's apparition at Sainte-Anne, France, in July 2025. This isn't a random event. Sainte Anne, the mother of Mary and grandmother of Jesus, appeared in 1625 to a simple farmer, sparking a devotion that's drawn millions to her shrine. Her message of family, humility, and trust in God is exactly what Sarah has championed his entire life. Why does this matter so much? Let's break it down with 4 key reasons this appointment is a game-changer for our faith. First, it's a bold choice by a reformist pope. Leo XIV could have picked a less polarizing figure, but he chose Sarah, a man who's never shied away from defending the Eucharist's real presence or the sanctity of marriage. In his book, "The Day is Now Far Spent," Sarah warned that the Church risks spiritual disfigurement when it chases worldly trends over eternal truths. By picking him, Leo is saying, we need conviction, not compromise. This is huge. Imagine a pope embracing a voice that challenges the status quo to lead a global celebration. It's a signal that tradition isn't dead. It's being unleashed to inspire millions. Second, Sarah's role is no desk job. As special papal envoy, he's been tasked with leading the faithful at Sainte-Anne and strengthening ties with traditional communities, especially in the global South, Africa, Asia, Latin America, where Catholicism is growing fastest. Did you know that by 2050, over 60% of Catholics will live in these regions? Sarah, with his African roots and deep spirituality, speaks their language. He's not just organizing masses. He's reigniting a fire of devotion that could spread worldwide. Picture him standing before thousands, his red cassock glowing under the French sky, calling us to kneel before the Blessed Sacrament. His mission is to bridge Rome with the vibrant faith of places like Nigeria, where churches are packed, and the Philippines, where seminarians are quoting Sarah's words daily. Third, this celebration is about more than history. It's about the Eucharist. Sainte Anne's apparition in 1625 pointed to preparing hearts for Jesus, just as she prepared Mary. Sarah will lead masses, processions, and homilies at Sainte-Anne, urging us to deepen our Eucharistic devotion. Here's what he'll likely emphasize. The Eucharist isn't just a ritual, it's Christ himself. Sarah has always taught that receiving communion unworthily risks our souls. In his writings, he quotes John 6:54, "Whoever eats my flesh and drinks my blood has eternal life." That's not symbolic, it's real. He'll call us to examine our consciences before Mass, to confess fully, and to approach the altar with reverence. One story stands out. A young man in Burkina Faso read Sarah's words and returned to confession after a decade away. He said it felt like coming home to God. You can feel that too. More on how in a moment. Fourth, Sarah's mission is a wake-up call for a church at a crossroads. Secularism is rising, churches are emptying in parts of the West, and debates over doctrine are dividing us. Sarah's appointment reminds us we can't water down our faith to fit the world. At Sainte-Anne, he'll likely share St. Anne's example of family prayer and trust in God's plan. Think about it. Anne raised Mary in a home of faith, preparing her to say yes to God. Sarah will urge us to do the same, build families that pray together, even in tough times. He's living proof of this. Growing up in a poor village, he relied on prayer and trust to rise to the Vatican. His life shows what's possible when we cling to God. So, how can you live this out right now? Let's make it practical with 3 steps you can take today, inspired by Sarah and St. Anne. First, deepen your Eucharistic devotion. Spend 10 minutes in adoration this week. Kneel before the tabernacle and ask Jesus to purify your heart. Sarah says adoration is where we rediscover the sacred. Second, strengthen family prayer. St. Anne's home was a cradle of faith. Try praying a decade of the Rosary with your loved ones tonight, asking St. Anne's intercession. One family in Colombia shared how this simple act brought them closer after years of tension. Third, trust God's plan, even when life feels chaotic. Sarah's journey from a village to the Vatican shows God's providence. Write down one worry and offer it to God in prayer today. These steps aren't just ideas, they're a path to holiness. But here's the urgent part. This isn't just about one event in France. Sarah's mission is a call to every Catholic to live the sacraments fully. Before your next Mass, ask yourself, am I approaching communion with a pure heart? If not, make a good confession. A woman in Nigeria shared how Sarah's words inspired her to confess after years away, saying, "I felt God's mercy like a river." You can experience that grace too. Start tonight. Examine your conscience using the 10 Commandments. Then pray, "Lord, make me worthy." Sarah's appointment is a chance to recommit to the Eucharist and live your faith with courage, no matter where you are. This is bigger than a single celebration. It's a turning point for the Church. Pope Leo XIV didn't just pick Sarah to honor the past. He's sending a message. Holiness matters. At Sainte-Anne, Sarah will stand before the world, his red cassock a symbol of sacrifice, calling us to kneel before the Eucharist and rediscover our Catholic roots. St. Anne's apparition 400 years ago wasn't a feel-good moment. It was a call to live for Christ in a broken world. Today, with churches emptying in some places, Sarah's voice is a lifeline. Here's your challenge. Before your next communion, pray, "Lord, make me worthy to receive you." It's a small step, but it echoes Sarah's mission. Start today. Visit your parish's adoration chapel or read Sarah's book, "The Day is Now Far Spent," to fire up your faith. If this moves you, Share it with someone who needs hope. Drop a comment below about how you're preparing for the Eucharist and hit subscribe to keep growing in faith. As Sarah says, we're not here for ideology, but for the gospel. Let's walk this path together.